हरिः ओम् नमः सर्वेभ्यः। अष्टाध्यायी परिचयः इत्यस्याः शृङ्खलायाः अद्य सन्धिप्रकरणस्य द्वितीयः अभ्यासवर्गः। शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। येनाक्षरसमाम्नयमधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः। वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयम्। प्रारभामहे. Quick reminder on the instructions. One Sandhi exercise will be presented on each slide. You can take a few minutes to work out the Prakriya. You can work the Prakriya out in mind or on paper, either is fine. Once you have the Prakriya ready, you can volunteer to discuss the step-by-step Prakriya. Please raise your hand. If you are chosen, please speak slowly, one step at a time, without omitting any steps. Even the insomnia removal steps should be explicitly spoken. At each step, the sutra exact text should be mentioned along with a one-line explanation of what that sutra is doing on that step. Sutra numbers need not be told. After the Prakriya is completely discussed, please make sure to put down your hand, and this is applicable to everyone, not just the one who spoke, because the hand that remains raised might be misunderstood as a volunteering for the next question. Some instructions specific to the questions. यत्र प्रश्ने प्लस इति चिह्नम् अस्ति तत्र साक्षात् पदयोः सन्धिः करणीयः। यत्र प्लस इति चिह्नं नास्ति तत्र पूर्वोत्तरपदयोः निर्णयं कृत्वा ततः सन्धिः करणीयः। यावत् स्पष्टरूपेण न पृच्छ्यते तावत् द्वित्वकार्यं न करणीयम्. So we are going to proceed exactly on the same lines as the previous class. We will have 25 more. So the numbering from 26 to 50. The first question is on the screen. Vanacharais plus saha. Very simple. Padanta sakarah asti. Vanacharais plus saha. Vidya ji.
नमस्कारः महोदय। वनचरैः सह इत्यत्र सकारान्तपदमस्ति। ससजुषोरुः इत्यनेन सकारस्य रुत्वं भवति। अधुना उपदेशे अधनुनासिक इत्यनेन रुत्वस्य तत्र उकारस्य अनुनासिकस्य च सम्यक् सम्यकं स्वीकृत्य तदनन्तरं तस्य लोपः भवति। वनचरैः सह अधुना खरवसानयोर्विसर्जनीयः इत्यपि स्वीकर्तुं शक्नुमः, परन्तु षट्परे विसर्जनीयः इति
न खरवसानयोर्विसर्जनीयः। खरवसानयोर्विसर्जनीय इत्यनेन रेफस्य
विसर्गः भवति। तदनन्तरं वाशरि इत्यनेन शरिपरे विसर्गस्य
विसर्गः वैकल्पिकः विसर्गः नो चेत् सकारः। अन्तिमं रूपद्वयं किम्?
वनचरैः सह तदनन्तरं वनचरैः सह इति सकारः
रूपद्वयं सिद्ध्यति। सम्यक् सम्यक्. Anybody knows from which place this wording is taken? So in yesterday's class I gave just 2-3 examples. Today I thought I'll spend a little more time on explaining from where certain examples are coming up. Srinivasam. Uchyatam.
Raghumshe iti manye.
Kutra asti? You have to speak the shloka full. It may be at many places. I just picked up from one place. So it's okay. I mean, we can ask others. Srinivasa Mahoday, you want to speak?
नीतिशतकात् इति मन्ये महोदय। वरं पर्वतदुर्गेषु भ्रान्तं वनचरैः सह न मूर्खजनसम्पर्कः सुरेन्द्रभवनेषु।
Very good. This is exactly what I'm looking for. Study of Shastras and Kavyas hand in hand. Varam Parvatadurgeshu Bhrantam Vanacharais Saha Na Murkhajana Samparkaha Surendra Bhavaneshwari. Excellent. Agrimam Udaharanam. Chandramasa plus Eva. Very simple. Chandramasa plus Eva. सुनंदा जी।
आं महोदय। चन्द्रमसा अधिकम् एका
एव
एव वृद्धिरादेच् इति सूत्रेण चन्द्रमासैव इति रूपं सिद्ध्यति।
किं सूत्रम्?
वृद्धिरादेच्।
किं सूत्रं? पुनरेकवारं चिन्त्यताम्। किं सूत्रम्? वृद्धिरादैच् इति सूत्रेण आदैच् इति वृद्धिसंज्ञं भवति। वृद्धिसन्धेः सूत्रं किं? वृद्धिरेचि इति। The sutram, not vruddhiradaic. You don't have to confuse between the two. Vruddhiradaic iti ashtadhyayah prathamam sutram tatra adaic iti vruddhisamyam vidhiyate. Idanim atra vruddhirechi ityanena vruddhi iti ekadeshah bhavati. Okay? Anybody knows from where this has been taken? Sunanda ji? Do you know from where this has been taken?
न महोदय, चन्द्रमसा एव.
Okay. Anybody knows from where this has been taken? Mugdha?
From Raghuvamsha, probably 6th Sarga, Jyotishmati Chandramasa Varatri.
Do you remember the full shloka? Very beautiful shloka. That's okay. Kamam nrupa santu sahasra shonye rajanvati mahuranena bhumim nakshatratara grahasankulapi jyotishmati chandramasaiva ratri. One of the phenomenal, one of my most beloved shlokas out of the entire Raghuvamsha. So Kamam nrupa santu sahasra shonye. This is an episode that is running the Swayamvara of Indumati. So Indumati, who is Aja's would-be wife, her Swayamvara is going on, and her friend, the bridemaid, is walking her through the Sabha Mandapa and describing each king, how great that king is. And this is for one of those kings. Parantapa is the name of that king. And how is that king being described? Kamam nrupa santu sahasra shonye. There might be thousands of kings on the earth. Parantu bhumim rajanvati iti anena ahuhu. So the earth is called ruled one by the king because of this king. So there might be thousands of other kings, but the real king qualities are in this particular Raja because that's why the Bhumi is called Rajanvati. Raja asyaha asti iti Rajanvati iti anena ahuhu. Because of him, the earth is called Rajanvati. Kamam nrupa santu sahasra shodnye Rajanvati mahuranena bhumim. And what a beautiful upama is given on the next line. Nakshatra tara graha sankulapi. There might be thousands of stars in the sky, but the sky is considered lit only because of moon. Jyotishmati Chandramasa eva ratrihi. So how is moon as against the background of thousands of stars in the sky? Exactly in the same way, this particular king is on the background of thousands of kings who just claim to rule on the earth. So one of the very beautiful verses from the 6th Sarga of Raghuvamsha. I'm not going to explain all the shlokas, just first initial one or two. Others I'll just quote and then you can search the meanings on your own. Agrimam Murchhanam plus vismaranti. Murchhanam plus vismaranti. Shri Kumari ji.
नमस्ते महोदय।
Namaste.
मोनुस्वारः इत्यनेन हकारस्य स्थाने अनुस्वारः भवति.
There's a typing mistake on this with ch plus ch. I'll fix that later.
Then that's what I was. Anusware.
Anuswarasya yayपर savarnah.
Then Murchhanam, that vakaras at the place of anuswaraha, vakarasya savarnah.
इत्युक्ते
Murchhanam vismarati.
परन्तु विकल्पेन भवति सूत्रमस्ति वा पदान्तस्य. अनुस्वारस्य परसवर्णा वा पदान्तस्ते तेनेन विकल्पेन वकार अनुस्वार अनुनासिक वकारादेशः तत्र भवति. So you can have मूर्छनां विस्मरन्ति with an anuswara or with an anunasik vakara. Uttamam. Does anybody know from where this is taken? I have taken this from very famous places. So if you know, you can keep your hand raised. Otherwise, you can put your hand down. Does anybody know from where this has been taken? Okay, this is taken from Meghadutam. Utsangeva malinavasane saumya nikshipya veenam madgotrankam virachita padam geya mudgatu kama tantri mardram nena salilaihi sarayitva kathanchit bhuyo bhuya swayamapi kritam murchanam vismaranti. So the Yaksha has instructed Megha to go to his native place, Alaka Nagari, and give a message to his wife. And he says, when you see my wife in that house, just don't directly go in. Just observe what she is doing. And in all these verses, successive 6-7 verses, Yaksha is describing what his wife might be doing in the house. So the common theme is that she is continuously remembering the Yaksha. And in this particular verse, he's saying that she has a self-made veena in her hand and she is trying to sing that veena. But she is continuously crying, and therefore the strings of the veena have become thoroughly wet. So tantrim ardram nayana salilaihi sarayitva kathanchit. She is just wiping those tears off and still trying to sing. But because her entire mind is in me, she's just remembering me. Therefore, she is making a lots of mistakes while singing. Arohaha, avarohaha, ups and downs. She is continuously forgetting. So bhuyo bhuya swayamapi krutam murchana. Murchana ityukte ups and downs in the singing. Murchanam vismaranti. So she is trying to sing but making a lots of mistakes in ups and downs because her mind is completely into my pratiksha. She is trying to, she is thinking when I'll come back. So this is Murchanam Vismaranti. The next one, Sutrakarais plus aindram. Padanta sakara asti. Sutrakarais plus aindram. Priya Shankarji.
नमस्ते महोदय। प्रथमं ससजुषोरुः इत्यनेन सकारस्य ऋत्व आदेशः भवति। तदनन्तरं उपदेशिको अनुनासिक इत् इति उकारस्य इत्संज्ञा तस्य लोपः इति लोपः विभवति।
Sutrakarais aindram. And then what?
तदनन्तरं एतत्तु तदेव तिष्ठति।
Sutrakarais
ऐन्द्रम्।
This is taken from once again Raghuvamsha. Jagada Chaina Maimanganatha Surangana Prarthita Yavana Shrihi Vinitanaga Kila Sutrakare Raindram Padam Bhumigatopi Bhumte. I'll not explain each shloka, I'll just give you reference whenever the shlokas are coming. You can go and look it up. This is again same sarga, 6th sarga. This is the description of the Anganatha while that Swayamvara is going on. Next one. Sudhi plus akhyatam. इत्यत्र यत्किमपि सन्धिकार्यमस्ति तत् करणीयं, तदनन्तरं द्वित्वम् अपि करणीयम्। पूर्णिमा जी।
नमस्कारः महोदय। सुधी आख्यातम् अत्र इको एणचि इति सूत्रेण एणादेशः भवति। सुध्याख्यातम् इति अग्रे सु इत्यत्र उकारः अस्ति, अग्रे थकारः यकारः रेफ हकारभिन्नवर्णः अतः अनचि च इति सूत्रेण धकारस्य द्वित्वं भवति।
सो धकारस्य द्वित्वं भवति ध प्लस ध
अपि आम्
प्लस य
अग्रे ख्यातं ध्याख्यातम् इत्यत्रापि ध्या इत्यत्र आकारात् अग्रे खकारः यकारः तत्रापि अनचि च इति सूत्रेण खकारस्य द्वित्वं भवति।
करेक्ट सो ख प्लस य देन इज दैट ऑल
अग्रे अन्तिम मकारस्यापि द्वित्वं भवति।
अवसाने एनीथिंग एल्स और इज दैट ऑल
तदेव अस्ति
ओके 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 आई एम जस्ट मेकिंग श्योर सो धकारस्य द्वित्वं खकारस्य द्वित्वं मकारस्य द्वित्वं सर्वत्र अनचि च इति सूत्रम् डन और इज देयर एनीथिंग एल्स आफ्टर दिस
तत्र नथिंग
you want to think or you want to give chance to okay. Anybody else wants to add up to this? I'm not saying there is something else, I'm just asking. You need to be thoroughly sure of what the prakriya is happening. Ruchi Bhagini.
तत्र जष्ट्वमपि भवितुम् अर्हति खलु?
केन सूत्रेण जष्ट्वं भवति?
झलां झषि इत्यनेन
वेरी गुड
धकारस्य दकारः भवति प्रथमस्य
दकारस्य दकारः भवति. What next? Is that all? That's okay. We'll take help from somebody else. If you gave me one step, that's good enough. Unless you want to speak another step. Okay, this is good enough. Lalita ji, Lalita Achyut. Is there any other step?
Jharochari savarne ityanena dakarasya lopam bhavati. Jharochari savarne.
How is Jharochari savarne applicable over here? What does Sutra Jharochari savarne say? Hal varnat anantaram jhar varnaha asti tadanantaram savarnaha jhar varnaha asti. So you need a hal letter and then you need a savarna pair. So if you take hal letter as dakara, then dha and ya is not a savarna pair. You get what I'm saying? This is actually a typical confusion that many students have. So let's actually go over this. Jharochari savarne does not immediately eliminate anything that is a pair of savarnas. Jharochari savarne requires a hal letter in the beginning. So first you have to see a hal letter. Halaha parasya jhar varnasya savarne jhar varne pare. So you need a hal letter and then there must be two savarnas. So in the plus dha plus ya, the plus dha being savarna is not sufficient. You have to have hal and then savarna pair, which is not the case over here. Okay, so that's definitely not what is happening. Astu. Subhashini Bhagini.
नमस्ते महोदय. महोदय अत्र खरीच इत्यनेन खकारस्य प्रथमवर्ग ककारः भवति.
What is it called? What is the process called? Kakarha bhavati iti samyak, but what is it called? Is it called dvitva? Is it called nakara lopa? What is it called? Chartva. Char, that's okay. Chartvam bhavati. So see what is happening over here. Atra dhakarasya dakaraha jashtvam khakarasya kakaraha Shartvam. So you have Jashtvam and Chartvam. That is the reason why Maharshi has kept Jhalam Jhashi and Kharicha after Anachichas. So this is the final form. So Dhyakhyatam, double makara is there. Uttamam. Agre gacchamaha. Sarvan plus labdhva. Very simple one. Alaknanda ji.
अत्र नकारस्य तोर्लि इत्यनेन अनुनासिक लकारः भवति सर्वान् लब्ध्वा.
सर्वान् लब्ध्वा. Correct. Nothing else. उत्तमम्. अग्रे गच्छामः. कस् plus kshamah. Does anybody also remember a shloka from Niti Shataka? You can either raise your hand for the shloka or the sandhi. Either is fine. Mukta ji.
अत्र ससजुसोरुः इत्यनेन ऋकारः भवति. उकारस्य उपदेशो जनुनासिके इत्यनेन इत् संज्ञा. तस्य लोपः इत्यनेन लोपः भवति. तदनन्तरं ऋकारस्य परे
रेफात् परे.
रेफस्य परे संयुक्तवर्ण क अस्ति. अतः खरवसानो विसर्जनीयः इत्यनेन रेफस्य विसर्गः भवति. विसर्गस्य परे खरवर्णः तथा शरवर्णः अस्ति. अतः शर्परे विसर्जनीयः इत्यनेन विसर्गस्य विसर्गादेशः भवति. अतः रामः कः क्षमः.
Very nice. Excellent. By any chance, do you remember a shloka? I think you must have studied it somewhere in Parichaya, Shiksha, Kovida, somewhere. It's a very famous shloka. Does anybody remember any shloka that has kaha kshama in it? Vidya ji? Mukta, one second. Okay. If anybody knows the shloka, can you raise your hand? Otherwise, please put your hand down. Patram naiva yada karira vitape. Does this ring any bell? I think this was a very famous shloka. I mean, I know it from many years, so I thought it was taught somewhere in Kovida Parichaya somewhere. Okay. Patram naiva yada karira vitape dosho vasantasya kim. If in the Vasanta Rutu, a tree in a desert, Marusthalam, does not get leaves, that's not the problem of Vasanta. No lukopyavalokate yadidiva suryasya kim dushanam. If an owl cannot see in the daylight, it's not a problem with the sun. Dhara naiva patanti chataka mukhe meghasya kim dushanam. If the rain does not fall in the mouth of the chataka bird, you cannot blame Megha. I want to add another line. If you do not understand sandhis, irrespective of all my efforts, I am not to be blamed. And then there is Arthantaranyasa. Yat purvam vidhina lalate likhitam tanmarjitum kakshamaha. What is there in your fate? Nobody is able to erase that. Tanmarjitum kakshamaha. Agre gachhamaha. Vachah madhuryam. Simple one again. Vachah madhuryam. This previous shloka, please memorize it, okay? These are some of the gems in the Niti Shataka. You should definitely memorize it. Vachah madhuryam. Reshma ji.
अत्र समासः अस्ति. अतः वाच माधुर्यं, वाच प्लस नस् प्लस माधुर्य प्लस सु, तत्र विभक्तिलोपः भवति. तस्मात् अनन्तरं चकारस्य ककारः भवति चोः कुः इत्यनेन वाक् माधुर्यम् इति भवति. तस्मात् अनन्तरं जष्ट्वं भवति वाग् माधुर्यम् इति. तस्मात् अनन्तरम् अग्रे म अस्ति. अतः
वापदान्तस्य इत्यनेन गकारस्य
there is no वापदान्तस्य.
यरोनुनासिके नुनासिको. So this is, just give me 1 minute. This is a typical point of confusion. Anuswarasya ययपर सवर्णा वा पदान्तस्य and यरोनुनासिके नुनासिको वा. These two look very similar, but anuswarasya ययपर सवर्णा is for anuswara getting converted to parasavarna, whereas yaronunasike nunasiko va is for anunasikatvam and it is already optional. So anunasikatve or vikalpena anunasikadeshe कृते किं रूपद्वयं भवति?
तर्हि वाग् माधुर्यम् और वाङ् माधुर्यम् इति रूपद्वयं भवति.
Not madhuryam, just madhurya. Pratipadikam eva tatra tadrisham eva vaktavya. Vang madhuryam. So we will learn about this. Thank you very much. So we will learn about this samasa prakriya, but in general, in samas, 1 second. We will learn about the samasa prakriya, but in general, in the samasa prakriya, you have to do the lopa on the purva pada and the uttara padam, and you have to create a new pratipadikam, because krut tadhita samasascha gives the pratipadika samnya. And after the pratipadika called vagmadhurya or vangmadhurya is created, you add a new supratyay on the top of it and a separate prakriya happens. You do not take the final word like madhurya and follow its rupas. So very simple example, pati iti shabdah asti, tasya rupani pruthak bhavanti. But if you say gananam patihi ganapatihi, so the way you do is you break gananam and patihi as with the pratipadikas gana and pati combine together to form ganapati, and the resultant ganapati word does not run like the pati word. For the pati word we have forms like patya and so on. For the Ganapati word, we have forms like Patina and so on, Ganapatina and so on. So you do not have to just repeat the Vibhakti on the Uttarapada. The new Samastapada runs as a separate word on its own. 34, very simple. Maunat mukah is just 1 or 2 lines of Prakriya. Maunat mukah. Same hands I'm seeing, some new hand. Savita ji.
नमस्कारं महोदय.
नमस्ते.
मौनात् इत्यत्र तकारः अन्ते विद्यते, अतः झलां जशो अन्ते इत्यनेन तकारस्य दकारः भवति.
Correct. So maunad mukah. What else?
दकारस्य परे मकारः विद्यते, अतः यरोनुनासिके अनुनासिको वा इति सूत्रेण दकारस्य नकारः भवति.
विकल्पेन भवति. वा अस्ति किल? मौनाद् मूकः मौनाद्
मूकः इति द्वयम्.
उत्तमम्. Which shloka? Anybody? Again, this is probably from Niti Shatakam. Not a very well known, but Maunan Mukah Pravachana Patush Patur Vachalo Jalpako Va. So this, I picked up this because there are some shlokas which are not very popular on their own, but 1 or 2 lines from the shloka have become really eternal. So Seva Dharma Paramagahanaha. This is a line that is very famous. And this line, Seva Dharma Paramagahana, the Seva, the vritti of doing a Seva is not very easy to achieve. It's extremely deep. Yoginam api agamyaha. Even the yogi janas do not attain that bhava of seva to whosoever, to your master, to your deity, and so on. So full-fledged seva is extremely difficult to achieve. So this particular last line is very famous. Seva dharma paramagahano yoginam apyagamyaha. So I just added the shloka. The first word of that is maunan mukah. You can take a look at it. You can search for its meaning later on. Lidh plus samuhah. Lidh iti padam asti. Prakriya is pretty long. So work it out. Don't rush. Some 6-7 steps are there in the Prakriya. Lidh is to be considered as a padam. We have just 2 hands raised. I'll wait for a few more volunteers and then we'll pick one. Okay, Sri Kumari ji.
झलां जशोन्दे इत्यनेन ढकारस्य स्थाने डकारः आदेशो भवति। तदनन्तरं दुडागम भवति। डः सी दुड्
इत्यनेन दुडागमः
दुडागम सकारस्य पूर्वं भवति।
परन्तु तत्र एकः विषयः इतोपि अवशिष्टः। दुडागमः विकल्पेन भवति। विकल्पेन भवति। वैकल्पिकः दुडागमः अस्ति। डः सी धुट् इति सूत्रेण वैकल्पिकः दुडागमः विधीयते। अतः धुट् इत्यनेन सह एकं रूपं, धुट् इत्येतं विना अपरं रूपम्। Okay? Remember, out of all the Agama Sutras, we have studied 5 Agama Sutras, out of which only Ngamorhaswadashi Gamun Nityam Ityanena Uktaha Gamudagamah Nityam Bhavati, Anye Chatvarah api Agamaha Vikalpena eva Pravartante. Agree.
Then Halantyam Tasya Lopaha Etayoho Dakarasya Lopaha Bhavati.
Dakarasya na takarasya. Dhutta ityatra takarasya. Ha, that's another mistake. You mentioned dhudha iti agama. Dhudha agama nasti. Dhutta iti tit agama asti.
Then gharicha ityanena dhakarasya sthane takara adeshah bhavati.
Correct. So dhakarasya sthane takaraha. No, before that, na padanta toranam. I forgot. न पदान्तात् टोरमान् इत्यनेन सर्वप्रथमं ष्टुत्व निषेधः। पदान्त ट वर्गीय वर्णस्य अवर्णात् अनन्तरं धकारस्य ष्टुत्वं न भवति। सो न पदान्तात् टोः अनाम् इत्यनेन अत्रापि ड अस्ति, तदनन्तरं विद्यमानस्य सकारस्य ष्टुत्वं निषिध्यते। Remember this, न पदान्तात् टोरम. Otherwise, there would be a possibility of shtunastuhu. There is a ta vargiya letter and then there is a ta vargiya letter. So a shtutva was possible, which is being blocked. And then, as you mentioned, there is khari chaiti dhakarasya chartve takaraha bhavati. What next?
Then dakarasya sthane takaraha gharicha ityanena chartvam bhavati.
Vitiyam kharicha iti sutram dakarasya sthane takaraha, and then in this other version also dakarasya sthane takaraha. And then ante kim bhavati? That's it. Varnamelanam. Lit samuhah. Lit samuhah. Uttam. Uttam. Very nice. So here, for example, I want to show something that Panini Maharshi, see how brilliantly he has thought over everything. Dahasi dhutta ityanena dhudagamaha. Tit agamaha asti. Maybe I mentioned this while teaching the class, I don't remember, but let me repeat again. So tit iti agamaha asti. Because it is the tit agama, that agama comes as the first avayavaha of the samuha. So samuha ityasa sakarasya avayava rupena dhut iti vidhiyate. What would have happened if Panini Maharshi would have just ignored this as a tit agama and instead he would have made it as a dhukka? Kit agama on the lid. So a kit agama on the lid will again go and sit between lid and samuha, and it will make dhukka instead of dhutta. Wouldn't really matter. Ka will go away by its samya, ukara, uchcharanartha. Eventually, dha will remain as it is. So dhutta agama, whether it is a tit agama on the next entity or whether it is a kit agama on the previous entity, should not really matter. Instead of dhutta, Panini Maharshi could have created dhukka, but why does he create dhutta? Vidyaji.
प्रश्नः आसीत् प्रश्नेन एव वक्तुम् इच्छामि तत्र धुट् इति भवति चेत् तत्र लिड् अनन्तरं धकारः भवति तस्य जष्ट्वं भवति झट् इति लिड् इति भवति
तत्र किं भवति यदि धकारः जष्ट्वं कथं सम्भवति?
तत् लिड् इत्यनेन दकारः युज्यते चेत् तत्र लिड् इति भवति। तत्र जलाञ्जशोन्ते इत्यनेन लिड्.
Why is jhalam jashonte not applicable? So you are saying we have li, we have da, and we have dha. What would happen in this configuration? Why would dha get converted to the?
Because
what number? Because of?
Because of jalanjashonte nava.
What number is jalanjashonte?
Astu.
And where we are? So you cannot apply jalanjashonte here. That's okay. That's okay. Savita ji, you have your raised hand. You want to speak something?
Yes, Mahodaya. Shtutvam bhavati, Mahodaya.
How is this shtutvam possible? Here lida plus dha ityatra shtutvam sambhavati. In order to block that shtutvam, lida must be pada, because only then the padantat toranam can take effect. It has padantat, and therefore lida must remain as pada, which means dhakara cannot be a purva avayava. It must be a para avayava, and therefore it must come as a tit agama. Minor things have been thought through. Sutras are not just created randomly like that. Let's go to this dahasi dhut. Maybe some commentary, maybe my commentary mentions it, or maybe some other commentary mentions it. Let's see this dahasi dhut. Kashika would probably mention it. Look at this. It's very beautifully explained. Paradikaranam napadanta toranam iti shtutva pratishedhartham. Par adikaranam. Parasya adirupena ayam agamaha kimartham vidhiyate shtutva pratishedhartham. So otherwise, if it would have been it's explained by me also. Tit agamasya prayojanam. Dakaram nimitta rupena svikritya sakarasya dhut agamaha kriyate. Why? Because then there would be a problem and you would get the anishtam dhatvam. So anishtam shtutvam and anishtam dhatvam will be generated. Clear. Thank you. Agre gacchamaha. I'll take a small break here. Are there any questions, any difficulties, anything, any clarification needed? You can raise your hand and you can ask. Okay, next one. Brahmanah iccha. Simple one. Brahmanah iccha. Alaknanda ji.
अच्छा ब्रह्मन् इच्छा इति भवेत्.
पूर्वोत्तरपदलोपः. Speak. पूर्वोत्तरपदलोपः.
पूर्वोत्तरपदलोपः इत्यनेन सुलोपः भवति, अतः ब्रह्मन् इच्छा इति तिष्ठति. ब्रह्म नलोप प्रातिपदिकस्य अनेन नकारस्य लोपः भवति. ब्रह्म
प्रातिपदिकान्तस्य
नलोपः प्रातिपदिकान्तस्य अनेन नकारस्य लोपः.
Then what? Is that all? One more step.
ब्रह्मेच्छा
वदतु.
ब्रह्मेच्छा भवति वा?
वदतु. भवति वा? Or no, न भवति. Okay, we'll give a chance to somebody else. Anybody else? Yeah, I mean, now I want double answer. Why was she confused and what is the answer? So, Sunanda ji.
अत्र अग्रे न गच्छति महोदय. ब्रह्म इच्छा इति एव तिष्ठति.
ब्रह्म इच्छा इति एव अन्तिमं रूपम्.
ब्रह्म इच्छा इति एव.
Anybody who believes Brahma Ichcha iti antimam rupam can put their hand down now. Now those who believe the reverse, I want to listen to their argument. So if you believe this is the final form, put your hand down. Otherwise, I want to hear. Let me repeat. Anybody who believes the Prakriya ends over here, put your hand down. If you believe Prakriya goes ahead, raise your hand. Sudhavalli ji.
Brahma Dvitvam Bhavati. Brahma.
Dvitvam you don't have to do. As I mentioned, yatra spashtarupena uktam nasti, tatra dvitvam na karaniyam. Astu? So dvitvam is you can ignore dvitvam. See, the basic question that the original person was confused. Is this Brahma iccha or is a guna possible after this giving Brahmecha? That's the question we want to resolve. Those who think it is Brahma iccha, put down their hands. Those who think a guna will happen, raise your hand. Now, obviously, I'm not going to ask you what is the sutram. I'm going to ask you why guna will happen. रेशमा जी.
मकारोत्तरः अकारः अस्ति अतः अग्रे इकारः अस्ति अतः आद्गुणेन गुणः भवति इति मम.
So that was so simple, but then why are most of the people thinking that this is not possible? Why are they confused? Why are people saying that guna is not possible? There are so many people who are saying here that guna is not possible. So what was the confusion in their mind? Alak Nanda ji.
आदौ मया असिद्धत्वम् इति चिन्तनमस्ति, परन्तु नकारस्य लोपः केवलं सु आदौ सिद्धः अस्ति.
So understand the full picture now. What happens is nalop of pratipadikadesya is in 8 to 7. After that, we are directly jumping into sapada saptadhyayi and doing a gunadesha. This is acceptable only for nakara lopaha. Nakara lopa is asiddha only in very, very specific cases like subanta prakriya. We are going to see it in the next module. So in subanta prakriyas and some other very specific cases, nalopa supswara samnyatuk videshak kruti, only in those cases nakara lopa is asiddha. Otherwise nakara lopa is siddha towards all other operations. That's why rajan plus uvacha, raja plus uvacha, rajo vacha, no chet rajan plus isha, rajesha, all these sandhis are possible exactly because of this. Agre gacchamaha. So Brahmecha is the final form. Agre gacchama. Ik ante yasya saha. Very simple. One line. Ik ante yasya saha. It is not necessary to work out every prakriya on the notebook or paper. It's okay if you want to do mentally. Those who are not confident should definitely work out. Ik ante yasya saha. Saroja Bhagini.
जसोन्दे इग संधि इगन्ते
Jalanjashonte iti ik. You have to speak the sutram fully, okay? Jalanjashonte iti jashtve. Uchatam. Jalanjashonte iti jashtve. Ig plus anta. Kim bhavati agre?
इगन्तः.
Igantaha ne. Iganta. There is no visarga. Iganta iti antimam rupam siddhyati. So these are the, okay. So these are the words that are there in sutras now. So I'm just not taking the words from the Sahitya. These are the words from the sutras. Igantat lagupurvat. So there is a sutram. We'll not learn it. I'm just showing Igantat lagupurvat. So that's Igantat word. That's where Iganta comes. Sama plus charini. Yet another very beautiful verse from Raghuvamsha. Sama plus charini. Very simple prakriya. Some new hands, please. Okay, Ruchi Bhagini.
सम इत्यस्य मकारस्य अनुस्वारः भवति मोनुस्वारः अनन्तरं अनुस्वारस्य ययिपरसवर्णे इत्यनेन विकल्पेन न वा पदान्तस्य इत्यनेन संचारिणी वा संचारिणी इति रूपद्वयम्.
Anybody knows the shloka from Raghuvamsha? This is, I mean, if there is one shloka from Raghuvamsha that you should know, it is this. Out of so many, how many, I don't know how many shlokas are there. If there is one shloka in the Raghuvamsha that you should never forget, it is this. Subhashini Bhagini, you have your hand raised. Do you want to speak? No. So Kalidasa is famously known by a very peculiar phrase called Deepa Shikha Kalidasaha. I don't know how many of you know this or heard this, but the reason why Kalidasa is called Deepa Shikha Kalidasa, Sudhavalli ji.
When Swayamvara in the Swayamvara, all the kings were shown to the bride. Then Deepashika is shown to that, beautifully explained by Kalidasa.
Which
That's
shloka?
why he is called.
Correct. But what is the shloka for that? That is one shloka you should definitely remember. Don't remember?
I don't remember.
Sancharini Deepashikhe Varatrau Yam Yam Vyatiyaya Patim Varasa Narendra Margatta Iva Prapede Vivarana Bhavam Sasabhumi Palaha. Very beautiful. See the way Kalidasa thinks. When the bride was Indumati was approaching every king, the face of the king glue with hope that she will now select me. And when that bride moved ahead, the face turned pale in an instant. Just so Vivarana Bhavam Sasa Bhumipala. Bhumipalaha ityukte Raja Saha Vivarana Bhavam Tasya Mukhasya Varnaha Nirgataha. How in a complete dark night, if you take a Deepa Shikha, a torch for example, and start walking, only the area where the torch is, that area gets thoroughly brightened. The whole entire room is dark. And when you move ahead, the area which was bright earlier turns dark and the new area becomes bright. Exactly in this way that the bride, Indumati, is being described as that Deepa Shikha who was passing, and the light of hope was clearly visible on the face of every king. Sancharini Deepa Shikhe Varatrau Yam Yam Vyatiyaya Patim Varasa Narendra Margatta Iva Prapede Vivarana Bhavam Sasabhumi Palaha. So with this particular beautiful upama, the Kalidasa became famous as Deepa Shikha Kalidasaha. So if you have to memorize one shloka and impress others, memorize this and explain why Kalidasa is called Deepa Shikha Kalidasa. Agre gacchamaha. Dilipas plus Anshumataha. This is, I think, from Ramayanam. Dilipas Padanta Sakaraha plus Anshumataha. Srinivas Mohoday.
आरम्भे ससजुषोरुः इत्यनेन दिलीपस् इत्यत्र ऋकारादेशः अनन्तरम् उपदेशे जनुनासिक इत् इत्यनेन उकारस्य इतसंज्ञा तस्य लोपश्च अनन्तरम् अतोरोरुप्लुत्तात् अप्लुते इत्यनेन रेफस्य उकारादेशः अनन्तरम् आद्गुणः इत्यनेन अकारः उकारस्य ओकारादेशः अनन्तरम् एङ् पदान्तादति इत्यनेन अकारस्य ओकारस्य अकारस्य पूर्वादेशः ओकारः एव दिलीपोंशुमतः इति.
I picked this example specifically for this construct. when you do eng of padantadati, correct. I mean, answer is correct. So when you do eng of padantadati, usually we are accustomed to an okara, ramotra, balosmi, and so on. But in this particular case, because there is an over here, what you see is diliponshumatah. Looks very weird, but nevertheless, it is 100% correct. Is the same prakriya, eng of padantadati, is used in the last step. This is, I think, a shloka from Ramayanam, Valmiki Ramayanam. Sagarasya samanjastu asamanjad athanshuman diliponsumatah putro dilipasya bhagiratha. Vidya Bhagini, prashnah asti va? Nasti. Purnima Bhagini, prashnah asti va?
प्रश्नः नास्ति महोदय.
Please put down your hands if you don't have question. Yan plus achi, this one. Very simple. Iko yanachi, varna melanam. Yan plus achi should be yanachi. But what kind of badhyabadhaka bhava runs over here? Muktaji.
अत्र नमो रस्वादचि नमो नित्यम् इत्यनेन णुत् आगमः भवति. हलन्तस्य इत्यनेन टकार इत्यसंज्ञा, तदनन्तरं तस्य लोप इत्यनेन लोपः, उकारः उच्चारणार्थं
not halantyasya.
सारी हलन्त्यम् उकारः उच्चारणार्थं तस्य अपि लोपः. अतः यण्णचि.
So why does Panini write yanachi? Should say ko yanachi. Did we discuss this in the class? Maybe we discussed, I forgot now. Do you remember?
No, sir.
No, that's okay. Purnima ji. Why does Panini say yanachi?
It is sautrartham iti.
Sautratvat, not sautrartham, sautratvat. Basically, it's a polite way of saying he did not follow his rules. He should have said yannachi, but he did not follow his rules. But you are not authorized to say that. So you say sautratvat. Ityukte sutrakarah swasya eva niyamanam palanam kuryat iti tatra navashakam. He can just deviate once in a while. Sautratvat. So for example, traffic police might cut the signal and you have nothing to do. You can't shout at him. But if you cut the signal, he will immediately give you a ticket. So it's exactly like that. So yannachi iti sautratvat iti uchyate.
Class discussed in the class, sir, actually.
Discussed. That's what. So many things have been discussed. Agre kshamah. Asman plus Mukta ji, have a question?
No, sir. Sorry.
No worries. Asman plus Sarvan. Subhashini Bhagini.
महोदय अस्मान् सर्वान् तत्र नश्च इत्यनेन
नश्च इत्यनेन what?
पदान्तनकारस्य सकारे परे दुट् आगमः भवति.
नकारस्य दुट् आगमः न भवति. It's a tit agama. So sakarasya dutt agama bhavati. Same. I also made a same mistake. We are all in the same family. Dhaka dhut iti agama asti kila. Sakarasya dhut agamah bhavati.
Sakarasya dhut agamah asti. Anantaram halantyam ityanena.
Just give me 1 minute. Let's go to the sutram and make sure on the website I have not made a mistake. Sakarasya dhut agamah bhavati. This is correct. Okay. Because many times I don't have full attention on what I write. Anyway, so next.
Halantyam इत्यनेन अपि च तस्य लोपः इत्यनेन लोपः भवति. अनन्तरं धकारस्य खरीच इत्यनेन चत्वं भवति. धकारस्य
Let's do just first. The
क्षम्यतां. धकारस्य प्रथमं जष्ट्वं भवति.
केन सूत्रेण भवति? केन सूत्रेण भवति?
जलाञ्जषि इत्यनेन न जलाञ्जषि एव खलु?
न भवति. I was unnecessarily
न
न भवति. जष्त्वं न भवति. किमर्थं न भवति? किमर्थं न भवति? You cannot apply जलां जषि and you cannot
अपि
apply जलां
सकारः अस्ति जषि तत्र जश्वर्णः नास्ति अतः तदपि अत्र
And why can't you say जलां जशोन्ते? Why don't you say जलां जशोन्ते?
तस्य पदं नास्ति तत्र सकारस्य दुटागमः भवति अतः.
Very good. Oh, correct. So therefore, what is the direct next step?
अस्मान् तकार खरीच इत्यनेन चत्वं भवति. अस्मान्त सर्वान्.
And the dhudagama is vikalpa. Vaikalpikah dhudagama. So pakshe asman
sarvan.
As I mentioned earlier, only one agama is compulsory. All others are optional. Next. Please put down your hands. Udang plus shuddham. The long prakriya, multiple forms are generated. Please take your time to work it out. Some 5, 6, 7 steps are there. Please work it out properly. Sunanda ji.
हाँ महोदय. उदंग अधिकं शुद्धं ङ्णोः कुक् शरि इति सूत्रेण ङकारस्य कुक् आगम अनन्तरं
विकल्पेन भवति.
विकल्पेन कुक् आगम अनन्तरं अन्तिम हलन्त्यम् इति सूत्रेण लोभः उकारणार्थं क इति अवशिष्यते. उदङ् क शुद्धम्. अनन्तरं
उच्यताम्.
अनन्तरं
That's okay. If you're stuck, it's okay. There's no need to take stress.
अनन्तरं षष्ठोटि इति आगच्छति.
परन्तु षष्ठोटि इत्यस्मात् पूर्वं किञ्चित् भवति. षष्ठोटि is correct, but there is something else before that. Somebody is saying jashtva. You cannot randomly do jashtwas like this. You are already in 8.3. Don't go back to 8.2. Yeah, I almost wrote it. 8.3. There is one more step and then you will do the shashchoti. Alaknanda ji.
सूत्रं न स्मरामि परन्तु वार्तिकम् अस्ति. तत्र ककारस्य खकारः भवति.
चयोः. What else? Do you remember only चयोः? चयोः द्वितीयाः शरिपौष्करसादेरिति वाच्यम्. इति वार्तिकमस्ति नादिन्याक्रोशे पुत्रस्य इत्यत्र. So what happens is चय वर्णस्य द्वितीयः इत्युक्ते वर्गद्वितीयः भवति शर्वर्णे परे. So चय वर्ण is वर्ग प्रथम ख फ छ ठ थ च ट त क प. So that's वर्ग प्रथम. वर्ग प्रथमस्य विकल्पेन वर्ग द्वितीयः. So k optionally becomes kh and k remains as it is. Correct. Can you continue? Who was Sudhavali ji was there earlier, right? Can you continue the prakriya now? Can you continue the prakriya?
Yes. In front of chattam, sastoti will take
correct. Shashchoti iti chatvam bhavati. So udang kha shashchoti tenine chatvam bhavati. So that cha is again optional. So this first branch will give you 2 forms and the second branch will give you 2 forms. This way there are 4 forms just by applying shashchoti. So chayodvitiyashari paushkarasaderiti vachyamityanena rupadvayam प्रत्येकं संदर्भेण षष्ठोटी इत्यनेन रूपद्वयम्. So that's a total of 4 forms. We don't need to pronounce it. You just see how the forms are generated. And finally, the kugagama is also optional. So if you do not do the kugagama, originally pakshe kugagamam vina udang shuddham ityadi antimam panchamam rupam sadhu asti. Anena prakaranatra pancha rupani siddhyanti. In this last step, you cannot apply shashchoti because there is no jay varna. Jay is required. Varga prathama, varga dvitiya, varga tritiya, varga chaturtha. That's not there in front of sh, and therefore shashchoti is not applicable in this last step. So pretty complex prakriya. Work it out after the class if you are not able to solve it completely. Alaye plus ishtam. Simple one. Alaye plus ishtam. Mugdha.
एचो यवायावः इति सूत्रेण प्रथमं एकारस्य अय आदेशः तदनन्तरं विकल्पेन लोपशाकल्यस्य इति सूत्रेण आलय इष्टम् अथवा लोपशाकल्यस्य यदि नास्ति चेत् आलयिष्टम्.
Alayishtam. Double yakar. Alayishtam or alayishtam. Correct. Very simple. Agree. Ang iti upasargaha. Ang plus tritiyate. Very. Not even a single hand. Priya ji.
श्रूयते महोदय. वृत्तिसन्धिः भवति.
केन सूत्रेण?
उपसर्गात् धृति धातौ.
परन्तु तस्मात् पूर्वं किमस्ति अत्र आङ् इति उक्तमस्ति. So you have to get rid of that ngakar. Ang is a special upasarga which has an itsamyaka letter in it. There is no other upasarga which has an itsamyaka letter. Ngakara iti ang upasarge itsamyaka asti. Tasya ado halantyam ityanena itsamya tasya lopaha. So that leaves us with a. And then what you mentioned is correct. Ad guna iti guna ekadeshe prapte tad badhitva upasargadriti dhatau iti sutrena vruddhi ekadesha vidhiyase. Okay. So this was the point I wanted to teach probably or emphasize, that there is a ngakara which has to be removed first. Shash plus naam shashti bhuvachanasya rupam. We have worked this out in class. Shash plus naam pratyaya. Shannam is the form that you have to generate essentially. Shannam. What is the prakriya? Can some other person raise the hand? The same set of people. The same set of people. Can somebody else please raise the hand? If not, I'll just pick somebody in the list. Dalita ji.
शश् नाम् इति पदान्तात् तोरणात् इत्यनेन प्रतिषेधः अस्ति, परन्तु निषेधस्य प्रतिषेधः एतत् नाम इति
अनाम् इति निर्दिष्टमस्ति।
षष् नाम इत्यत्र षड् नाम इति भवति जस्त्वेन।
So first there is Jashtva. First step is Jashtva. Before you talked about Padantaktorama and also on. First is the Jashtva. And then what you mentioned is correct. You want to repeat that?
न पदान्तात्तोरणात् इत्यनेन नाम प्रत्यये परे षष् नाम इति भवति।
No, which is, see, you already have Shad Nam now. You don't go back to Shash Nam. You have Shad Nam. What happens is, which is the sutram that causes the Shtutva, it is not Na Padanta Toramam. Na Padanta Toranam is the Nishedha Sutram. Vidhi Sutram kim asti?
Stutvam.
What is the sutram for that? Correct. Very good. Shtunashtuhu iti shtutvam bhavati. And then what you mentioned is correct. Na padanta toranam iti nishedhe prapte tatra anam iti asti. Ataha ayam nishedha na pravartate. But it is only saying the nishedha will not happen. The original action is being done by shtunashtuhu. So shtunashtu ityanena shtutvam bhavati. Okay, what next?
Shad navati iti bhavati.
No, there is no navati here.
षड्नाम इति भवति षड्नाम इति भवति षड्नाम इति भवति नकारस्य नकारस्य ष्टुत्वे नवति इति भवति षड्नवति भवति।
There is no navati, there is nam.
षड्नाम
That's okay. Don't get confused. There is one more thing that is happening. Wait. So the sutram is
nakar.
Speak. It's there on the screen.
षड् नाम इति यत्र नकारस्य ष्टुत्वं भूत्वा नकारे परे नकारस्य ष्टुत्वं भूत्वा
Nakara is already ta vargya. There is no shtutva. Shtutva converts the na to na. After that, okay, I will explain. Maybe you are a little confused. I'll explain. So what happens is shada plus nam ityatra yaronunasike nunasiko va iti vikalpena parasavarnadeshe prapte. What happens, Neelima ji? What happens after this? I'm randomly picking names, but
Namaste. Shada naam yado anunasike anunasiko va ityanena dakarasya nakara bhavati. Shadnam.
But va asti kila, so it should also be shadanam.
Va ityanena vikalpena bhavati.
So what are the correct forms? Are the correct forms shadanam and shadanam?
Shadanam tatha cha shannam.
Nasti. Kimartham nasti? Why is this shadanam not a correct form? There is a vartika that is used over here. Do you remember?
No, sir.
No, that's okay. That's it. No, sorry, it's not to me. You have to revise. Priya Shankar ji.
प्रत्यये भाषायां नित्यम् इति अत्र नकारः
How much revision is needed? Pratyaye bhashayam nityam ityanena atra parasavarnadeshah nityam bhavati. So yaronunasike nunasiko va gives an optional parasavarnadesha, but if there is a pratyaya in front, because that's exactly the reason why I've explicitly written nama as pratyaya. Otherwise there is no need for me to write it like this. Because there is a pratyaya in front, pratyaye bhashayam nityam ityanena nityam parasavarnaha bhavati. So dakarasya parasavarnaha nakaraha. This second. This is pratyaye bhashayam nityam ityanena parasavarna nasti vikalpena anunasika deshaha bhavati. So that's what I got confused. There is no parasavarna over here. I explained, I think, this point a few minutes ago. There is anunasika deshe prapte. So I'll fix this. Vikalpena anunasika deshe prapte pratyaye bhashayam nityam iti saha nityam eva pravartate. Sudhavalli ji, you have anything to contribute?
Yes, षट् नाम there नाम नवति नगरे नाम वाच्यमिति अस्ति चेत्
तदपि
That's what
वक्तुं
I
शक्यते
wanted.
अनां नवति नगरीणां वाच्यमिति अपि अस्ति तदपि वक्तुं शक्यते usually that vartika has power for navati and nagari. If you just want to do for naam, the vartika is not needed. प्रत्यय न पदान्तात् टोरणान् इत्यनेनैव तत्र नाम इति ग्रहणम् अतः इत्यत्रैव नाम इति ग्रहणम् अतः इति सूत्रस्यैव प्रयोगः पर्याप्तः परन्तु नवति नगरी अस्ति चेत् you can use the vartika, but that is correct. I mean anam navati nagarinam iti vachyam is the vartika that also can be used over. Agree. We have 5 more and then we will stop. Uda plus sthapanam. The upasarga is dakaranta. Okay, Uda is the dakaranta upasarga. Original the is there. Uda plus sthapanam. Chandra Prabhaji.
I'll try, Mahodaya. Hello?
I can hear you. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Ut plus sthapanam atra kharicha chartvam bhavati.
Kim bhavati tena?
Ut plus sthapanam.
Very good.
Kharicha. Ut yoge thanam.
Sthapanam.
Udas sthapanam. उदस्थास्तंभो पूर्वस्य अत्र सकारस्य धकारः महाप्राण.
Very good. So you have a double thakara.
Yeah, double thakara. Utthapanam.
Correct. And then what?
I get it from the slide. Yeah. Atra parantu atra vikalpena utthanam iti api bhavitum arhati. झरो झरि सवर्णे अत्र.
Very good. झरो झरि सवर्णे इति विकल्पेन प्रथमथकारस्य लोपः भवति. So
प्रथमथकारस्य. Yes.
So प्रथमथकारस्य पाक्षिकः लोपः. So if you do that lopa, you have uttathapanam. Otherwise you have uttathapanam. Excellent. Very good.
Yeah.
So this is exactly what I was mentioning earlier, that for Jharo Jhari Savarne, you need a Hal letter. So that T was the Hal letter. And then you need a pair of Savarnas. So that Th is the pair of Savarnas. And the first of them is removed. Please put down your hands. Agre. Arshas iti padam plus adibhyaha. Arshas plus adibhyaha. Last 4 are only remaining. Please, those who have never tried even once, please try out. This exercise is for you, not for me. Arshas plus adibhyaha. Manjiri Bhagini.
अर्षस् योग आदिभ्यः अत्र सकारस्य ससदृशोरुः इति सूत्रेण ऋत्वं भवति. अर्ष रु आदिभ्यः. अनन्तरम् अनुनासिक उकारस्य इत्संज्ञा उपदेशे जनुनासिक इति सूत्रेण इत्संज्ञा भूत्वा तस्य लोपः भवति. अर्षद् आदिभ्यः. तदुना अकार रकार तथा परे आकारः अस्ति. तथा तत्र किं भवति? भो भगो अगो अपूर्वस्य योषि इति सूत्रेण तत्र अर्षय भवति. अर्षय आदिभ्यः. अनन्तरं अग्रे स्वरः अस्ति, आकारः अस्ति. तथा विकल्पेन लोपः शाकल्यस्य इति सूत्रेण यकारस्य लोपः भवति. अथवा तत्र वर्णमेलनं भवति. अर्षयादिभ्यः तदा अर्ष आदिभ्यः.
Very good. Excellent. See, so many prakriyas we have studied, and many prakriyas, this Sasajusho who comes, somebody mentioned on the group very apt that this is Sri Ganesha of our course. Sasajusho is the Sri Ganesha Nama of your prakriya. When you enter Subanta Prakaranam in the next week, Rama plus Su, the very first word we are going to learn is Rama. Rama plus Su. How is Ramaha created? Sasajushoruhu and Kharvasan, your Visarjaniya. So that's exactly the Sri Ganesha of your Subanta Prakaranam also. Very basic sutram. And by the way, this Arsha Adibhyaha is actually a sutram in Ashtadhyayi. Arsha Adibhyaha Acha iti sutram asti in 5.3, I think. Arsha 5.2. Arsha Adibhyaha Acha. So very peculiar sutra. Panini Maharshi obeys his own rules. So it doesn't do a Savarna Dirgha over here. Arsha plus Adibhya, you cannot do Savarna Dirgha because all this is a Tripadi Prakriya asiddha towards Sapada Saptadhyayi. So Arsha Adibhya ityeva tishtati. Very simple. Vandavahe acharyam. Muktaji, Vandavahe acharyam.
वन्दावहे एकारः अस्ति पदान्ते तदनन्तरम् आकारः अस्ति अतः एचो यवायवः इत्यनेन एकारस्य अय आदेशः भवति अतः वन्दावः योग अय योग आचार्यम् अतः वन्दावः याचार्यम्.
Anybody who thinks that this, anybody wants to say exactly this answer can put their hand down. Other people can keep their hand raised. Those of you who wanted to say Icho Yavayavaha, put your hand down. Others can keep their hand raised. Mugdha.
ईदुदे द्विवचनं प्रगृह्यम् इति सूत्रेण वन्दावहे इत्यस्य प्रगृह्यसंज्ञा भवति.
किमर्थं प्रगृह्यसंज्ञा भवति? किमर्थं कथं ईदुदे द्विवचनं प्रगृह्यम् इति सूत्रं कथं प्रयुज्यते?
अत्र द्विवचनमस्ति वन्दावहे इति तिङन्तस्य अतः अनन्तरं प्लुत प्रगृह्य अचिनित्यम् इत्यनेन तत्र किमपि अग्रे कार्यं सन्धिकार्यं न भवति.
So वन्दे वन्दावहे वन्दामहे ईदुदे द्विवचनं प्रगृह्यम् इत्यनेन अत्र प्रगृह्यसंज्ञायां सत्यां प्लुत प्रगृह्याचिनित्यम् इति प्रकृतिभावः. उत्तमम्. अग्रे. Muktaji, you wanted to, your hand is raised, you want to, okay. Agre, mlecha plus anyar. This is mlecha dhatu in the dhatu patha. So see, we are now doing krudanta prakriya also. Mlecha iti dhatu pathe dhatuhu asti. Mlecha iti. I'm looking at sutra patha. Anyway, mlecha iti dhatuhu asti. Mlecha plus anyar. Sunandaji.
अम्लेच्छ अधिकम् अनियर दीर्घात् इति सूत्रेण म्लेच्छ च अनियर.
Before that, there is something else. There is no. Before that, aniyar iti asti kila aniyar. किं भवति तत्र?
रेपस्य लोपः हलन्त्यम् इति सूत्रेण तस्य लोपः अनन्तरम् अनीय इति अवशिष्यते. म्लेच्छ अनीय अनन्तरं दीर्घात् इति सूत्रेण तुक आगमः भवति. म्लेच्छ तुक् ककारस्य इत्संज्ञा उकार उच्चारणार्थं त इति अवशिष्यते. अनन्तरं खरीचा इति सूत्रेण तकारस्य स्थाने चकारादेशः. अनन्तरं
Wait. Where is kharicha? Why is kharicha applicable? I am confused.
स्तोहोश्चुनाश्चुः इति सूत्रेण चकारादेशः तकारस्य श्चुनाश्चुः
Correct.
Shchuttam bhavati.
Correct. Is there on the screen. And then?
Shchuttam bhavati. Anandaram म्लेच्छनीय अनन्तरं
वर्णमेलनं भवति
वर्णमेलनं म्लेच्छनीय इति रूपं सिद्ध्यति सन्धि नित्यमस्ति एतत् नित्यमस्ति
So dirghad ityanena nityam tu gahama. Correct. Because padantadva will give option. Correct. So this is what I wanted to show. Earlier I did not show because that ch plus ch. So if you search in Sutra Patha and you wanted to change this place, you wanted to search in Dhatu Patha, there is a trick. Some of you might know, some of you might not know. Use the left menu. Use the left menu. You have all those spaces where the search happens. So go to the Dhatu Patha. Your search query will remain as it is and it will automatically get searched in the Dhatu Patha. And this is your first result. So I did not want to show that chakara, so I didn't demonstrate it earlier. But now we have this. Let's go to the Dhatu. Let's go to the Krudanta Prakriya. So Krudanta forms. Aniyar will be there somewhere over here. You click on that aniyar and you see the Prakriya over here. So mlecha plus aniyar, dirghat itenena mlecha plus aniyar, then stoho chunachu, mlecha plus aniyar, mlechaniya. By the way, there are Pullinga, Strilinga and Apumsakalinga forms. These clicking them will also give the entire table and clicking any of them will also give the entire Prakriya. So this is an ocean. How much you explore, it will always be less. Agre, last one. Anybody wants to try? Kuru iti dhatuhu plus dhatu ityukte dhatu rupam asti plus anti. Atra prakriyayam dvitvam api karaniyam. There are like 5-6 steps because dvitva is involved. So work it out. I will wait for 3-4 minutes and then we will select someone. Eventually, we want to generate the kurvanti, karoti, kuruta, kurvanti form. You don't have to apply any dhatu specific sutras. Only sandhi has to be done. Everything else is already given to you. Kuru is a dhatu and anti is the pratyaya. You have to also do the dvitva in the whole process. Okay, Srinivas Mahoday. I might have unmuted someone else. Just 1 second. Oh, your hand is not up. I thought your hand was up. Vidyaji. Uchitam.
तत्र कुरु धन अन्ति इत्यत्र उकारस्य अकारस्य च वकारः भवति
उकारस्य अकारस्य वकारः न भवति केवलम् उकारस्य
उकारस्य
दिस इज अ पूर्वादेश संधि उकारस्य वकारादेशे सूत्रम इट्स रिटन ऑन द स्क्रीन ओके then what
अधुना कुर्वन्ति इत्यस्ति तत्र द्वित्वस्य विषये एव अधुना
वेरी गुड
कुर्वन्ति इत्यत्र अनचिच इत्यनेन अन्ति इत्यत्र नकारस्य द्वित्वं भवति
ओके अनचिच अन्ति इत्यत्र नकारस्य द्वित्वं परन्तु तस्मात् पूर्वं किञ्चित् भवितुम् अर्हति
नकारस्य वा महोदय तत्र
नकारस्य
तत्र तस्य अनुनासिकत्वम् अपि भवितुम् अर्हति
अनुस्वारः तत्र अनुस्वारः so which sutram is that
sutram na janami
will because this is the last one let me also give a chance to others one step at a time will so that we can ask many people So, Purnima ji, just one step, you tell me the next one.
Anti इत्यत्र वा महोदय?
Kutrapi. Yatra kutrapi. What is the next step? Yatra kutrapi agrimam sopanam vartate.
अत्र अचोरः भ्यां द्वे इति वकारस्य द्वित्वं भवति.
Tasmadapi purvam. Anybody? That's okay. Let's do this in an interactive manner. Anybody else? Those who want to do dvitvam, put down their hand. If you want to say anything other than dvitvam, raise your hand. I have heard dvitvam from two people. Subhashini Bhagini.
Ante ityasya nachchapadantasya jali ityanena.
Correct. Now, why is nashchapadantasya jali to be preferred over dvitvam?
Dvitasya purva.
Dvitvam is in 8.4. At least you have to remember padas. So padas, sorry. Dvitvam is in 8.4. Nashchapadantasya jali is in 8.3. So after ikoyanachi, the first thing that happens is nashchapadantasya jali nakarasya anuswaradeshah bhavati. Okay. Now what? What is the next step? Somebody else. Muktaji. Just one step after this.
अपदान्तनकारः अस्ति अतः अनुस्वारस्य ययि परसवर्णः इत्यनेन पुनः नकारः तत्र अस्ति अतः अनुस्वारस्य नकारः भवति.
One second. Now this is the crucial step. Before anuswarasya, the sutra is correct, but before anuswarasya yayi parasavarna acts, it is the time for dvitvam. Because observe this, the sutras anachicha and achorahabhyam dve. Again, I'm in the Dhatu Patha, I'm searching in the Sutra Patha, so I'll just use the left menu and go to Sutra Patha. Anachicha is 8, 4, 47 and 46. So 46 and 47 are the sutras for Dvitva, whereas Anuswarasya ye parasavarna is little bit later, 58. Therefore, now it is the time for Dvitvam. Anybody? Say Purnimaji. Explain just the next step that you were talking.
अत्र कुर् इत्यत्र रेफः अस्ति उकारस्य अनन्तरं रेफात् अनन्तरं वकारः अस्ति अतः अचो रहाभ्यां द्वे इति सूत्रेण रेफात् अनन्तरं विद्यमानः वकारस्य द्वित्वं भवति.
वैकल्पिकं द्वित्वं
विकल्पेन भवति.
परन्तु द्वित्वं करणीयम् इति प्रश्ने उक्तमस्ति, अतः विकल्पाभावे किं रूपं भवति तत् तत्र नोच्यते. Technically, you have two options, but because I have explicitly said dvitvam karaniyam, we can ignore the other path and we just say kurva with a double vakara anti. Now, at this point, you will understand that anachicha is not applicable because there is no nakara. This is why the sequencing is extremely important. Okay, we'll go to someone else. What is the next step? Chandra Prabhaji. Just one step.
Anuswarasya
Correct.
I had written earlier in chats.
Okay. Anuswarasya yahi parasavarna. Yes. Therefore, kurva plus anti.
Kurvanti atra antima rupam siddhyati.
Kurvanti iti antimam rupam siddhyati. Correct. So you have a double vakara and you have a single nakara. And after this, what I have written on the slide is anachicha iti nakarasya vaikalpikam dvitvam. You do the optional dvitva of nakara to say anti, finally giving the form as kurvanti with double vakara and double nakara. Is this correct or is this wrong? Subhashini Bhagini, your hand is raised. If you want to, So I have specifically written this in yellow color. Is this correct or is this wrong? And obviously why? You have to answer the why. Okay, so Subhashini Bhagini.
It is wrong. It
is wrong. Why?
Lopashakalyasya tyanena.
Lopashakalyasya. Where is Lopashakalyasya coming here?
Oh no.
See, it is wrong for a very simple reason. See the ordering. After 8,458, I am now going back and applying 8,447. this is a violation of asiddhatvam. Therefore, this appears to be wrong. There are so many hands raised. I have given out the answer that there is 8458. After that, I am violating the ordering and I am using 8447. And therefore, this nakarasya vaikalpikam dvitvam looks wrong. Is there any comment on that particular argument? If you agree, you don't have to raise your hand. If you want to comment on that particular argument, raise your hand and I'll let you speak. Sunanda ji, you want to speak something?
अत्र हलो यमां यमि सवर्णे इति सूत्रेण लोपः अपि भवति
सत्यमस्ति लो halo yamam yami lopa is where applicable. It is not applicable at all. There is yama plus yama needed. It's just like jharo jhari savarne. You need a hal letter. After that there must be a yama and a yama. So there is a hal letter which is r and then v plus v. But as I mentioned, once you do dvitvam, doing the lopa by jharo jhari savarne and halo yami yamam yami lopa is not expected. Halo yamam yami lopaha and dvitvam are complementary. One might lead to another, but you don't do the lopa if you have done the dvitvam. So usually don't write that step. There is nothing wrong in it. But what I am talking is not about dvitvam or lopa. I am specifically talking about this particular step. I have written anachicha after 8458. This seems wrong. If there is anybody who wants to talk anything on this, then you raise your hand. Vidyaji.
प्रश्नः एव महोदय निश्चयेन न जानामि परन्तु भवता लिखितम् इत्यनेन एव वदामि तत्र
सूत्रत्वात् साधु
अन्ति इति तत्र प्रत्ययः योजितः अस्ति तस्य अन्तरङ्गं स्यात् इति
Okay. But I don't expect you to know this, but still there are hands raised. Sudha Valliji, you want to talk something?
Yes, Ashrayat, if it is, whether it is done.
Okay, so Ashrayat Siddhatam, good chance, good tries. But Ashrayat Siddhatam is the relationship between the Tripadi and Sapata Saptadhi, also Purva Sutra of Tripadi and Parasutra of Tripadi, when there is Ashraya. There is no Ashraya over here. Go back to the Ashrayat Siddhatam and see what exactly Ashraya means. I don't expect you to know the answer, so let me speak out the answer over here. We are already running out of time. This is in fact correct. The reason why this is correct is because Dvitvam is considered in Vyakarana Shastra as a very special karya like Samnyas and Paribhashas. Samnyas and Paribhashas are visible across entire Tripadi. In the same way, Dvitvam is also visible across, for Dvitvam, everything is visible. Like for Samnyas, Sapada Saptadhi is also visible and Tripadi is also visible. Same for Paribhashas. In the same way, for Dvitva Karyas, everything in Ashtadhyayi is visible, which means that for the Sutra 8447, even 8458 is visible, and therefore after 8458 is done, 8447 has no problem in getting executed. This is specifically only to Dvitvam, and there is a very particular Siddhanta or Paribhasha that Nagesha has created, Purvatra Siddhiyam Advitve. So whatever fancy Purvatra Siddham you have studied, restrict it to Advitve. Dvitva bhinnasya karyasya sandarbhena tripadyaha asiddhatvasya niyamaha prayoktavyaha. So Purvatra Siddhiyam Advitve. This is a rule. We never had a chance to discuss this even over here. I wanted to keep it all the way at the last question. This is not something that I want to teach in details. Just one line to remember that Dvitva is a special case like Samnyas and Paribhashas. Samnyas are visible across Ashtadhyayi. Similarly for Paribhashas, in the same way, the Dvitva Karya, there are three Dvitvas. Remember, there is a Dhatu Dvitva, there is a Pada Dvitva, and there is a Varna Dvitva. This Paribhasha is applicable to all kinds of Dvitvas. Dvitva can be done at the end of the Prakriya, even though there are Tripadi Sutras that have executed before them. This is the essence, and therefore atra nakarasya vaikalpike dvitve krute kurva with double vakara and ti with double nakara are both possible. And obviously in this prakriya we have seen that ranatva is not possible. Ranatva is very beautifully hidden, that anuswara is done in 8324, ranatva is 841, and then the nakara comes back in 8458. So ranatva is very beautifully hidden out there. So thank you very much. Samapayamaha. This is the end of the exercise prakaranam. In the next class, we are going to start with the next module. So what next? We are going to start with the Subanta Prakaranam, one of the most important prakaranas, Subanta Prakaranam module 5 next week. The foundation that we have achieved in this Sandhi Prakaranam will be extremely useful in the Subanta Prakaranam. 90 new sutras we are going to study, 10 classes. I don't want to, it's very hard on me to just cramp everything in 10 classes, but I don't want to deviate from that structure. Otherwise, I can teach Subanta Prakaranam for 100 classes and the course will never end. So it's a limit that I have imposed to keep the course in a proper structure and a time-bound manner. So 90 new sutras we will learn spanning 10 classes. And what are we going to learn in this 90 new sutras? Our focus is to learn the entire Subanta Prakriya for a selected set of 70 Pratipadikas. And when I say 70 Pratipadikas, it is not Bala and Mukunda, Krishna, Govinda, Shiva, Hara and so on. All of them are going to be different. There will be one Akaranta Pullinga, Bala, then Mala, Vana, Muni, Sadhu. There will be Halantas, Marut, Vach, Bhavat, and so on. There will be Pullingas, Strilingas, Napumsakalingas. So 70 words, each with a unique Prakriya. We are going to study 70 words, the full Subanta chart, all 21 Vibhakti Pratyas, their Prakriya for the 70 words. And some of you might be overwhelmed with how come the 70 words is pretty big and so on. Just for the comparison, Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi discusses the entire Subanta Prakriya for 250 words. And Siddhanta Kaumudi discusses the Prakriya for 400 words. So we are actually not even doing 1/3 of Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi, even less than that. So as I mentioned, the course is not as big as Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi, it's just Ashtadhyayi Parichaya. So we are going to focus on the entire Subanta Prakriya of just the 70 words. And as I mentioned, I have a limit imposed myself to fit entire thing into 10 classes. And therefore each class is going to be longer, 90 to 100 minutes like it is today. Extremely sorry. I know you have your other commitments. If you can attend, that's great. Otherwise, catch up with the recordings. Each class is going to be 90 to 100 minutes. The classes are extremely Prakriya intensive. Therefore, consistent practice is needed. Please form groups among yourselves. Please meet regularly. What to do in these groups, I'm going to tell you in the next class. But the summary is that we have to work out for 70 words, 17 distinct Prakriyas. Why 17? Technically, there are 21 pratyas, but bhyam is repeated, bhyas is repeated, os is repeated, au and out, they have the same prakriya. So you group them together and there are 17 distinct prakriyas for 70 words, a total of around 1,200 prakriyas you have to work out. There is no shortcut. So unless you work out these prakriyas like Sandhi Prakaranam, unless you work out these prakriyas, you will not be able to have a solid foundation of the Subanta Prakaranam. So this is just to prepare you. Good luck. Put on your seat belts. From next class onwards, we are going to start the detailed study of Subanta Prakaranam. If there are any questions, please raise your hand. There is a question. Can you place these 50 questions? I'm going to make the PPTs available along with the recordings. So the PPTs will be available. You can access the 50 questions on your own. And if there are no questions, samapayamaha agrima saptahe subanta prakaranasya prarambham kurmaha. अष्टाध्यायी जगन्माता यस्य चित्तात् समुत्थिता वेदानामुपकाराय तस्मै पाणिनये नमः. शब्द ब्रह्म समाराध्य कृतवान्यो विलक्षणं सर्वाश्चर्यमिदं शास्त्रं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः. येन धौता गिरः पुंसां विमलैः शब्दवारिभिः तमश्चाज्ञानजं भिन्नं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः. धन्यवादः.